Not the same with that, I gotta tell you. The building is missing something with the young Danish. Sorry, I know you feel comfortable with those things. I'm just trying to get it. There's something missing.
Yo, brother.
What's going on, brother?
I'm doing right, bro. Sean.
Pick it out where it's at.
What? Definitely not. You split it up. Break it up. It's a 6. So. No. Take it. You put it in your pocket. You may need it. Yeah, Jeff, what's happening, brother?
For the first year, there was plenty of room. You here for the first year? No. I would yell at you. No, just only, not nothing. It was just so many spirits. So hard to understand. You share that.
Can we end off at, you know where we ended up?
Right, Jay, wasn't that a difficult chair to?
Yeah, you know what? I love that challenge of having to use my brain.
Yeah, if the Rambam would have known that his stuff was going to be so difficult, so why did he make it so difficult?
He wants you to.
How do you learn? How are you supposed to learn it if you're supposed to know everything before you learn it?
I guess he wants you to rise up to the. I guess maybe he wants us to rise up to the occasion.
How do you rise up?
Learn.
No, I understand, but how do you learn it all? How do you understand it all before you even start learning it to begin with?
You need a Rabbi.
But how did that Rebbe learn it all before you started?
Now you're going into the
mystic. So I said, if I was younger, I would have had that. It would have been a problem. We wouldn't have gotten past the first line.
I hear that, but you know what? Baruch Hashem.
Okay, we're up to end a little bit early. There's a bris downstairs we tried to get to. There's Hashem. We're on page Kuf Samach Aleph. Panecha, Ayekah. Learning about how to communicate from the Ratzon of the deepest Ratzon inside of us, the communication between the Neshama and our conscious Seichel and our Avoda and so on, how to communicate, and how in the last parak we were learning how only when a person lives with the Torah every minute of his life is he able to learn how to use. It's okay. To use his kodesh in the right time, at the right place, in the right way, and everything should be in the right zman, the right makom. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not create us in a way that we should not be able to, that we shouldn't be able to experience the simcha of this world and to be able to use our kodesh, but they have to be used in the right way. And if they're not used in the right way, so then there is that fear of what's in the next parak, the tohu and mabul. So we'll look on page Kuf Samach Aleph. Pnimius HaTorah Karm LeMetzias Zu Olam HaTohu. So we spoke about this already a little bit. That in Pnimius HaTorah, this Metzias of a person unleashing his Ritzitis into the world, into his life, without careful gedarim of zman and makom and so on. This Metzias is called the Metzias of Olam HaTohu, the world of Tohu. Of course, in Kabbalah, that's a very, very big inyan, but that means the world of Tohu. The Torah begins, there was that lack of order. Hashem intentionally created the world before there was a world. When he created worlds, he destroyed worlds. We're not going to the whole story of what was before, that was taught to us by the Mekubalim, Api Kabbalah. But there is still, in this world, even though we're living now in the Olam HaTikun, our job now is to repair that primordial state of Shiras HaKelim. That's our job. Nevertheless, the person who lives without Seder, that person is living in a Metzias that's called Olam HaTohu. So the Olam HaTohu still exists even after creation. There are many, many people, especially in this last generation before Mashiach comes. The Olam HaTohu is a very popular world that people are living in. Before our world was created, that was the Metzias. Our world is Olam HaTikun. And as we've learned, we just spoke about a little bit, even the way that the spheres were, and how Kadosh Baruch Hu made things before creation. It was without Seder. It was intentionally done so. And our avoda is to make Seder, Olam HaTikun. Kol HaKoiches Shimshu B'Erbuvia. In that state of Tohu, all of the Koiches, Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, all the Koiches were B'Erbuvia, were in a state of confusion. So a person's a Baal Chesed, a person's a kind person, and as a result of that kindness, he never disciplines his child. So he's so kind that the child is never disciplined. So what's happening is that the midah of chesed, we understand, is not being used in a healthy way. The wrong way, the wrong time, and so on. The midah of gvur has to be used with chesed. So how all the midas and how all of the spheres are interplaying when it's not taking place in a way with seichel and with seder and with Yoshemayim, and according to the Torah, that's called a Metzias of Tohu. A Metzias of Tohu. Shnei ha'inyanim ha'yesaidim l'tikun olam ha'tohu hem hazman v'hamakom. The two most basic requirements when it comes to establishing a metzias of tikkun and entering into a life of tikkun is zman and makom, time and space. As you know, all that exists on three levels, in three dimensions. It's called ayin shin nun, olam, shana, and nefesh. Olam means the physical space, shana means time, and nefesh means the person. Shema'afshirim loses the kol koach es hamerchav shalom, that enable every single koach in a person's life to be used in its proper time and its proper place. Kol tzuras havadas Hashem shalom benuya lefi shnei hakritarionim ha'halalu. All of our avodas Hashem is built on these two criteria. Loses the kol davar es makamo uzmanu, to give every single thing its makom and its zman. Its makom and its zman. There's a time for shachris, mincha v'arvis. You see that the Baruch Shalom wanted our lives to be in such a way. When a person is new to a life of Torah mitzvahs, it feels like many people have expressed this to me over the years. It's just an odd thing that, Zman Kriya Shema is 9:34. Like, why can't I be Yetzik Kriya Shema 9:35? What's this thing about 9:34? Why are you so particular about these things? Or every single detail in halacha, when a person's new to halacha, it seems very, very odd and very overwhelming that there are so many details, most of which revolve around zman and makom and the halachas of every single din in Shulchan Aruch, in all of Shulchan Aruch. That Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted things to be in such a way that everything should have its makom and its zman. And all of Torah is built in that way. Shachris, mincha, ma'ariv. Yesh zmanim l'shachris, mincha v'arvis. There are those telltale signs of the tohu chavra that are very, very obvious, and there are signs that are less obvious. The telltale signs are the ones who either can't get up ever on time, or they're late, or they're always running into shul late, they're leaving early. There's a certain shul is a very, very obvious stage of where there's a spotlight on the tohu chavra. But of course, that plays itself out in their personal lives as well. It's not just a matter of being on time or things always being not mesuder. There are many, many other things in life that are affected by whether you live in the Olam HaTikun or you live in the Olam HaTohu. Many, many things in life are affected by that. Yeshisha Yom v'Shabbos. There are 6 days and there's Shabbos. Shabbos is on Shabbos, not Sunday, not Monday. There's 6 days of Chol. Hashem Baruch Hu wanted it exactly in that way. Yeshisha Yom v'Shabbos. Kol davar zman u'makom. The Torah says, Al yetze ish mem kaima b'yom hashvi, that during the week a person goes from place to place to learn, to school, business, whatever it is, work. A person, the whole 6 days of the week are defined by going to different places and taking care of different things. Shabbos, the Torah says, Al yetze ish mem kaima b'yom hashvi. Shabbos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants a person to be still. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants a person to have a makom. And therefore, halacha establishes a makom of Shabbos and the boundaries of Shabbos and so on. Because Shabbos is a time of Al Yetze Ish Mem Kaim. The place of the person on Shabbos is a place that is still, that is quiet, that is fixed. And on Sukkot, Hashem Baruch Hu wants the person to be in the Sukkah. And so it is with everything. So the Mishnah says that every person has his time, everything has its place. And that's what Shlomo Melech says. The 28 Itim, Eis Lehav, Eis Lisna, Eis Mechomev, Eis Shalom, and so on. There are Itim, there's a time for everything in its set time. In the world of Torah, the person struggles, or don't even struggle with that. There's a person that no matter what will always not be on time, or you says, I'll meet you here, and is not there, and is here. So all these things that are very, very obvious signs of Torah, but they're much less obvious signs of Torah in a person's life. Why would a person not be in time? If somebody says, if you say to somebody, I'll meet you at 9 o'clock, and and you're waiting at 9:15, unless there's an emergency, I'm saying. But those people who are always doing that, why does that happen? They have the same watch that you have. Why is that? Why? I'm not asking you to raise your hand if you're one of those people, but why does that happen? Like, why is it you have the same exact watch? You said, I'm going to meet you at 9 o'clock. You see the watch says 9 o'clock. You know there's a person that's waiting there for you, and you don't make it. Not because Chalila, something came up. Not that your mother needed you, or your wife, or your husband, a baby. No. Just kacha. Kacha zet tamid. Why? What is that? Ashalo b'seder. It's something that's not b'seder. It's a very, very, very deep Indian, this Indian of Torah. It's not just a matter of being inconsiderate. Of course it's inconsiderate. It's bad midas. It's just bad midas. That's Aleph. Again, barring any kind of a reason. But it's just bad midas. But the person will, is the nicest person. It happens that the Tohu Chera are usually very, very sweet. It usually comes along with it. So to say that you have bad midas doesn't seem right. The person has very nice midas. It's something different. It's a very deep thing. Why is he not there at 9 o'clock? What's happened at 9 o'clock? Makara. You want to tell what's the problem?
Is it the same men and women? Women are not.
No, there's a
they don't have to do.
No,
they don't have time bound.
No, there are differences, but I want to go into that right now. There are differences in this sugya between Azach and the Cave, but it's not even. For me, this is just one part of it, but it's not even that, because the person's the nicest person. He'll do anything for you. She'll do any favor in the world for you. The nicest person. But why is it that the Zman and the Mokum, why weren't you at 9 o'clock in that Mokum? This is a very deep opinion. Why you weren't at 9 o'clock in that Mokum? If you said you were going to be there, you're not a liar, and you're a nice person. As Makara. What happened between 9 and 9:15, 9:20? What happened? What is it with that person that's always running in late to a minyan or to a shul? Again, you can't say he's not religious. He's very frum. Again, a lot of that chevra are the most sincere. What is that? What's that shor? What's the shor of Elamato? And it affects many, many other things in their lives, with finances and with marriage and with children and many. It's not just not showing up at 9 o'clock. It's an olam of Torah. It's a world of Torah. And there are people who visit the world of. We all visit the world of Torah, but then there are the toshavim in the world of Torah. Those who live in the world of Torah, and that has a very, very big impact on their lives and on the lives of other people. Zu asim shadavka parshas Noach. Mishufaz b'tiurei zman umidas yoysim mikol parashas haTorah. So it's fascinating. Just in the parasha where the world returns to Tohu, because that's what happened by the Mabul. By the Mabul, whatever went wrong, and the world returns to Tohu. And Davki in that parasha, where the world goes crazy, and everything is like the little ones would say, is Mishkababel, right? There's Tohu. Davki the parasha of Noach is Mishupas b'tiurei zman umidas yosim mikol parashas Torah. Speaks more of time and midos and measurements than other parashas. Until we get to these parashas of the Mishkan. The parashas that we're in now are all about specific measurements. Very, very, very specific measurements. Amar v'chetzi arka, amar v'chetzi rachba, which we find by the Tevis Noah. So, Chatam shel b'nei ha'adam. What led to that? What led to the Mabul? So, Chatam shel b'nei ha'adam, the sins. Again, it's hard for us to understand what was going on, only from what Chazal revealed to us, what we were taught in the Sefer. But what went wrong with the Bnei Adam, Hashem ivdu es hagvulos. There was a complete loss of boundaries. Ivdu es hagvulos. There was a complete breaking down of all boundaries, of all barriers. In other words, Ratzon went wild and was loose without any proper boundaries. Mashem is batei begezel ubarayis, and the most obvious manifestations, expressions of that unbound, uncontrolled Ratzon of these people who were very close to the time of creation. So like it's explained in this Kodesh, there were tremendous ritzaynus. We can't be masik because the Beis Yaakov talks about, all the tzaddikim talk about this, that the closer they were to that time of creation, the energy of creation was like crazy at that time. The energy of creation was so powerful, and the chachus of the world and all worlds, and those early generations were filled with that or. Havayim Elokim hi or. Even though, of course, we live through it every moment, but the hester upon him is much, much more over the years. But they lived in such a metzias of Vayom Elokim, and so on. And it was the beginning of mankind, and therefore the mankindness, the mankindkeit was very, very strong, was very powerful, was very wild, the Ratzon. And they didn't have a Torah. They didn't have a Shulchan Aruch. They didn't have any mashgichim. They didn't have any control. So we see that what fell apart most obviously was when it came to respecting the property of other people and the possessions of other people, which is gezel, stealing. What's yours is mine. There are no fences. What's yours, meaning your things, your wife. I can do whatever I want. Gezel on their eyes. V'yichul lechem nashim mikol hashabachar. V'yichul lechem nashim mikol hashabachar. Everybody took any woman they wanted. Mikol hashabachar. Kimol aretz chamas mipneim. And the world was filled with chamas, with violence. With this unbelievable theft and gilai rayas, killing and so on. Malar it's chamas mipneim. Ein gvulis ve'ein seder. There were no gvulis, there was no seder. Kol echad lokerech bli cheshbon. You wanted something, you grabbed it without a cheshbon. Somebody bothered you, you killed him. You wanted this, you took it for yourself. It was without a cheshbon. Kol echad lokerech bli cheshbon. Zo hatohu. That was the return of tohu. In a very, very open way, that was the return to a state of tohu. Keneged zeh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu hichzir es ha'olam l'tohu v'vohu. So the people of the world had returned, had fallen to a state of tohu and vohu, and Hashem brought back the tohu and vohu. Keneged zeh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu hichzir es ha'olam l'tohu v'vohu. Kach ba'ol mayim li shum gvul v'tzimtzum. So the flood came without any, and there was no way to control the waters. The tohu returned to the generation that was tohu. And the tohu came back. The tohu returned without any gvul, without any tzimtzum. V'shotfu es ha'olam kulo. And the whole world was drowned. V'shotfu es ha'olam kulo. V'shotfu es ha'olam kulo. Now, the past few years have been very, very strange. I mean, over here, that happened with the storms, the Sandy. And then afterwards, the whole parasha of COVID. That everybody knows, but that there was never such a thing from the beginning. That the whole world was mamish. There was a market that the whole world was taken by, and Hakadosh Baruch Hu was sending the whole world to be for that time in your makom. That's what it was. The whole world was sent back to its makom, and Hashem was saying to the whole world, Aish, don't go out of your makom. Don't go out of your makom. Stay in your makom. And there was this strange machla that just took over the entire world. And it was a sort of a modern day Mabul where Hakadosh Baruch Hu was taking us back and getting us ready for some sort of a tikkun. So instead of there being a flood, there was this strange machla that said that everybody has to stay still. And everybody has to be in his or her place. Because you've been leaving your place, you've been leaving that place for too long. And there's been too much tohu in your lives. So it was a certain way like that. The world was reset in a very strange way. That whole time, which now is going to be already, it happened after Purim. After Shushan Purim, that's when everything closed down, after Shushan Purim. So it was a very, very, very strange thing. And people were giving a lot of thought to it while it was going on, but then afterwards, once the gates opened up, then everybody's just running again. I told you that there's this guy that is always late for davening, and I asked him, "What did you do during COVID when you couldn't be late for davening?" So he said, "Don't worry. I woke up late and I missed my creation." He told me. He said I said, because you're always late to shul. So how do you, when there's no shul, how do you do that? How do you come late if there's no set zman? So how did the people who are the bnei tohu, the anshe tohu, how did they go? How were they living during the time of that time of that Mageifa? This is very. I don't know if I'm sure there have been already books written about all of this, study these things, what was going on during that time. Because Mamash took the whole world in such a way. It was on the one hand, there was some big tikkun that was going on, but then how did the B'nai talk? So you saw that people going crazy, the people going out of their minds. It was some interesting behavior during that time. People acting and behaving. And it's all tied up to this sugya that we're learning. So Kashbar Hichziv's Olam Tovavo, Kach Bo Mayim Bli Shum Gvul V'Tzimtzum, V'Shatfus Olam Kulo. So the Mabul, the flood. Hatikun Shel Osa Tohu, Hayibam Sos Chidush Azman V'Amakim. So Hashem created the world, so to speak, again after the Mabul. And to begin the world of Tikkun, B'Amsos Chidush Hazman V'Amakom, and that's why it says over there in the parasha. Therefore, the shiraim of creation was kept in a teva, in the boat, in the ark, that had very specific dimensions, very clear and specific dimensions of midos meduyakos. Mabul his nahel al pi zmanim meduyakim, and the Mabul, the Torah goes into every single detail, exactly how long it rained, and how many days was the flood, and exactly the moment that the flood ended. when it began, when it ended. Everything was very, very miduyak, was set very, very clearly and specifically how it was going to be. Because that was the beginning. They livnos olam mesukon b'mesius shel gvul. That was the beginning of the repair. That would really take another. It would take some more time till Avram Avinu would accelerate the movement of the world towards Tikkun, and then finally by Ma'amad HaSinai, and then ultimately the building of the Beis HaMikdash, and which is also everything is meduyak exactly, all of the dimensions, the measurements, and the Olam HaTikkun, exactly every single thing. It's specific measurements, it's midas, and what time, when are you allowed, when is the Kohen allowed to go into this place, who is not allowed in this place, what takes place in this specific place, what's not allowed to take place. If you go into this place and you don't belong, you're in big trouble. If you're supposed to come here and you're not here, you're also in big trouble. Not at 9:15, at 9 o'clock. And if you don't show up, you're in serious trouble. All of that is the Olam HaTikkun. Now, there is one day of the year where there's a milah for things not being beseder. What day is that?
Yeah.
That's Purim. There's the one day of the year that's a day of tohu. A certain tohu on Purim. It's the whole mahus of Purim is ad lo yada. But of course, the tachlis of ad lo yada is to come to a higher level of yediyah. And we know, and the Rabbi Sasson spoke about this all the time, all the tzaddikim spoke about this, that the tachlis is not just the world of tikkun. It's iris of tohu and kalim of tikkun, right? The iris, Hashem Baruch, the ultimate tachlis that's going to be is unbelievable, powerful light, like a tohu personality. The ur of tohu, lebedik, alive, on fire, but what? 9 o'clock, on time. In other words, iris of tohu, powerful iris, but in the kalim of tikkun. In kalim of tikkun. Which goes back to what happened after the Shiur HaKalim, and how to fix the kalim and everything that we do in our lives, which is based upon, our lives not based upon, we live according to Shulchan Aruch, and Shulchan Aruch tells us how to make kalim to contain this light, powerful iris, but you're not davening in an empty room because everybody else already finished davening, you just got here. You're davening together with a minyan. And you're there as a tzibur. That there should be iris of tohu. Powerful iris. But in the kalim of tikkun, that's the ultimate tachlis. That's only going to be fixed in Mashiach. Therefore, anybody that's already the day after Purim and he's still drinking, I'm not talking about the Shushan Purim and you go to another place and you come. I'm not talking about just a regular place. And you're somebody that's like that. You're still drinking a day or two after Purim. You're stam sheker. You're just a messed up person. You're a mabulbul. You're a malbul. You're a tohu. Because the whole tachlis of the ad liyada of Purim is to come to a higher madrega of das. That's why Woodmere explains in the sixth Maimer in Pachid Yitzchak of Purim, he talks about the whole Indian of the Sil Hashem, the Sil Azazel, and Purim and Kippurim, and so on. And there, he talks about the whole avodah of Purim is ad liyada, but the piyut that the Jewish people have accepted as our national anthem for Purim is Shoshanas Yaakov. And this Hashgacha Pratis, why it came out like that. In Shoshanas Yaakov we sing Aror Haman Baruch Mordechai. So the Rosh Yeshiva Rav Woodmere asks, like, why? If that's the Piyut of Purim, that's the song of Purim, what should we be singing? No? What? Baruch Haman. It's hard to say the words. We should be saying Baruch Haman and Mordechai. I mean, if you did Purim right, if you were successful, and you followed all of the mitzvahs and minhagim of Purim, and you know that with this Indian people that normally are not machmir when it comes to other things, when it comes to Adal Yada, they're big machmir. And you kept Purim and you reached the level of Adal Yada. So then you're supposed to sing Rur Haman Baruch Mordechai. Why aren't you singing the other way? It should be V'nahafeichu. It should be when you come, because that's when we're singing that most. It's the end. We're going now from the end of Purim into Shushan Purim, and there's Shushan Purim into Chol. So you should be singing. It should be Adal Yada. Because the whole beer of Purim is to bring the iris of Tohu into Kalim of Tikkun. Is to that Adal Yada to come to a higher madrega of understanding that Haman is Or and Mordechai is Baruch. And as the Rosh Yeshiva explains over there, the only way you can come to that is by looking at them both and examining them both closely and like you see that the Seir Hashem and the Seir Azazel, the halacha was that they had to be the same price and they had to be the same height. The animals looked exactly the same, the two Seirim, except one is thrown off the mountain, that's Esav, that's Lazazel, and the other one's brought into Beis HaMikdash for the biggest avodah. Because the deep problem in the world of Tohu is that everything looks the same in the world of Tohu. In the world of Tohu, everything looks the same. In other words, therefore, what he has, I want. It's all the same. There are no boundaries. In the world of Tohu, everything looks the same. Like when a person is drunk. The Gemara says that a mountain, a flat place, looks the same thing. That's why he's tripping and falling, because everything looks the same. And Yaakov and Esav are twins. And one could think that they're the same. And one could think that Hamas and Am Yisrael are the same. So people dress up like Haman. And things look the same. But all of that is to be able to throw Haman and Hamas off the mountain. To come to a higher level of das, a deeper level of das, where we don't measure things by how they look on the outside, but how they look on the inside. And on the inside, it's when you come to the tachlis of Purim, to come to a place of absolute clarity of das, of Or Haman Baruch Mordechai. That's why the Jews have a saying that Purim is only one day of the year. The Jews that live Purim more than one day of the year, and there are a lot of them. They drink, they smoke, they're not on time. They're sloppy. Stuff. From the Olam HaTorah. And everything in life. The real Adal Yada people come to a higher level of das. They come to greater clarity. And the whole tachlis of Purim is to come to that higher level of. Therefore, you find something fascinating when it comes to Purim. It says, "L'kaim is Yimei HaPurim Ha'ela Bizmaneihem," and the Gemara at the beginning of it talks about Zmanim Harbe. Zmanim Harbe is strange. We don't have any other yontiv like that. That's the beginning of the Masechta. How do you have such a yontiv like that? Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, Yud Gimel, Yud Dal, Tesvav. In one place, Jews are keeping Purim, and in another place, it's not Purim. So you live in that show, I want to have Purim another day. What is that? Wait, somebody, you could do that by Shabbos? Oh, let me see what Shabbos is like over there. I mean, if you can cross the equator or something. What does that mean? That Bizmanehem, Zmanim Harbe. What does it mean, like Kaim, Zmanim Harbe? How could there be such a thing where a time has many times? Either it has a time or doesn't have a time. Everything in Shulchan Aruch is exactly on time. So Monday night, Mitzvah is going to be Purim. It's going to be Tanis Esther is Monday, and then it's Purim. This is the Zman of Kriyas Megillah at night, in the morning. So, and just when we're winding down, and everybody's trying to get themselves back together, just then in Yerushalayim and other places of Shushan Purim, they're just getting started, right? How could that be? And every other thing that we do, everything is midduyak, is exact meters. Because Purim is the strongest taste at the end of time, whereas Iris of Tov and Kalim of Tikkun is an unbelievable time. Where this time has another time, but in the world of Tikkun, in the world of Kedusha, we don't have any other day like that. And Yom Kippur, nobody messes around with anything. Therefore, Purim is higher. Yom Kippur is only Yom Kippur. Purim is higher. Yom Kippur is Tikkun. Everything with Purim is Tikkun. But everything with Yom Kippur is Tikkun. But Purim, Yom Kippur is Tikkun. But Purim is Iris of Tohu, craziness. Ad L'Yoda, to come to the highest level of Das, with the is the of Tohu, of unbelievable, powerful but the Kalim are Kalim of Tikkun, the strong Kalim. So you see when the poskim speak so strongly about a person, because he's drinking on Purim, he didn't hear the Megillah. Like there's nobody that's lower in the eyes of the poskim than such a person. What did you do? What did you do? You drank and then you didn't hear the Megillah. It's Tohu. Bilbulim. Just Bilbulim. Terrible Bilbulim. And therefore those people who do not know how to drink in the right way, they shouldn't. Period. That's not the tachlis. The Tohu is not the tachlis. It's to be able to come to a place with the iris where even that person who normally the boundaries are so strong that the iris are not allowed in. Then on Purim, the person allows the iris in because the boundaries, the walls are sort of let down, right? And therefore the iris are flooding in. The floodgates are open. And Afa Pichain, the person, it might be hard, but he hears the Megillah and he doesn't miss a word. It's Iris of Toh in Kalim of Tikkun. It's a very, very, very unbelievable day, the whole Havayt of Purim. And therefore you see the whole Indian is with money. This money goes to him, he takes this, it goes there, everything's there. And it's Bilbulim and Toh, the whole day of Purim. And therefore the people who are very, very, very strong in the world of Tikkun, Purim is the hardest day of the year. It's a very hard day for the Anshe Tikkun. It's a very hard day. For the Anshe Tohu, they're waiting, that's the whole year, they're preparing for Purim. They already have their shachmanis ready, like by Hanukkah, and they talk about their costume. You know that there are people that do that, they talk about their costumes for Purim. I'm not talking about kids. Like what are they dressing up as? They talk about that like already months before. It's the Anshe Tohu. Those are people who are late to shul. Check into it. You'll see. The Anshe, they're talking about their Purim costumes already by Hanukkah. It's Hanukkah. What are you talking about Purim? Yeah, Purim is because that is the day for the Tohu, not the Anshe Tohu. It's the big day for Anshe Tohu. I could wear like the yeshiva b'chabad. I could wear like a kippah ruga. Wow. And the guy with the kippah ruga, I'm going to wear a strival. I'm going to dress up like a Toldos Aaron. This is the whole year is to be able to do some weird stuff. The whole year, because the rest of the year, I'm going to do this. Shulchan Aruch, I don't want to get in trouble. But then all of a sudden, like strange things, and then those people, and there are some people you would never think. Like sometimes you get this thing, you thought he was a real Tikkun person. He comes in the craziest Tohu on Purim, and you never knew that he was like he just came out of the closet. He's really a Tohu guy. He's really a Tohu guy. And so on Purim, you say, I didn't know. I thought you were Tikkun. No, I'm Tohu. So there's all kinds of stuff. Purim is the wildest day. It's crazy. But the tachlis of Purim is not ad le'yod. It's ad sheyodea. Umolar is deyas Hashem. Das. The whole Indian is Or Haman and Baruch Mordechai. It's the strongest das. But the iris are filled with life. It's l'chaim. Even the people don't normally make l'chaim. On Purim is l'chaim. Everybody's alive. The iris of Tohu. L'chaim. What is it?
How do you know if somebody is a tohu person or they have tohu midos? You spoke of the person who's drunk afterwards. in chinuch, you wouldn't tell the person, you're a tohu person. You are a great person. You have tohu midos.
Whoever said that the person, I didn't use once the word great or not great or bad. I didn't say good or bad at all.
Tohu seems,
I said good or bad, not once.
No, we're saying a tohu person is late and they're not on time.
There are certain behaviors, and there are behaviors.
So how do you know if it's
and
the behaviors
and
of the person?
And the tikkun person can be unforgiving and rigid and inflexible. Each one of these has to deal with to recognize and be aware of their personalities, and to be able to deal and have proper good midas, and to work on their midas. I didn't say good or bad. Tikkun people have big problems. In many ways, they can have much bigger problems.
So take out the good and bad. I'm just saying, deep down, a person is a certain way. It's not their midos.
The midas is a measurement. The word means to measure. It means how they dole out that thing inside of them, that it should be done in the proper measure. That's all. In the right way. That's why I wasn't talking about good or bad. And that's why I said some of the sweetest, nicest people on earth and the frommest people on earth are Tohu people. And you could have, on the other hand, tikkun people that are horrible and miserable.
But you said
and difficult. It's not. That's
that
why
don't keep time and they're late to shul and.
That's right. That means that
so that's not good. That's a value judgment.
Yeah, and the person who tells his wife, "I'm sorry that I didn't help you with the children because I didn't finish the daf, and I had to be here and I have to do that, and these are my responsibilities while your wife is dying and the children are not well." So then that's a bad use of tikkun, the word of tikkun. So I'm just talking about they're all tzaddikim, these are all Jews. How you use your tohu and how you use your tikkun, it's either good or bad. So I was talking about because we were talking about tohu. That's why I was talking about people who are constantly late and so on. Those are the tohu people. And you have the tikkun people who are always on time. They could also make you crazy. What does that mean to be always on time? That means that person can make the kids crazy, can make his husband crazy, the wife crazy, with things that don't have to be at that particular zman. Because zmanim harbe tikkun lahem. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be Yud Dalet. It could be Yud Beis or Yud Gimel. And what are you saying that dafka has to be now? What's have the dafka be this minute? This has to be done. And you could be that tikkun person that has to do this thing right now because that's when you always do it. Even the whole world around you is falling apart. So then that's a mistaken use of that way of tikkun. That's not good or bad. It's what you make of it. Like with all midas, it's how you.
So it's a midah. It's not an essence. Or it is an essence.
No, it is an essence. It's an essential thing. The midas is how you hand it out, how you use it, how you measure it, and so on. How you prepare it. But that there is, just like you have Rochel and Leah, Tikkun and Tohu, you have all of this these are essential, the essential character of who that person is. Be'etzim. How to use these things. But the tachlis is it should be iris of Tohu and Tikkun. And that's why he says, V'kach gam hateva nivnes al pi midas meduyakas v'amabel isnal al pi zmanim meduyakim k'dei livnos olam mesukim b'mitziyah shel gvul. So what began after the Mabel was starting a new world. There will be powerful iris, but there will be stronger gvulim, boundaries, and it's up to each and every one of us to try to hold on to as much or as we can, but to make sure that we have healthy, proper kelim, according to Shulchan Aruch, according to the Torah, have the kelim to contain those ores. All right.